Presented by GhostBed.com.
If you're going to bet on sports, bet with MyBookie.com, where instant access to the action allows you to bet on anything, anytime, from anywhere. Use promo code Drinkin Bros to double your deposit up to $1,000. Welcome to the Monday Morning Recap Show. 5:15 on the East Coast. Not bad. Not bad.
Who's airdropping?
Who's airdropping shit? Who's airdropping?
Don't worry about
we
what
heard
we
some
said.
airdropping, okay?
That was Joel.
No airdropping in the studio. Damn it.
Gives you cancer.
You can air pop and lock, but not drop.
Sure can.
Yeah,
sure can. Go ahead and put there it is again, dude. We don't do that, Joel. Put the camera on Delco there.
You should just keep doing it for the rest of the show. Fuck him. Don't let him tell you what to do.
It's like Giovanni Ribisi in Boiler Room. He won the green jacket over the weekend. Congratulations on your win.
Congratulations on the minimal effort you put in finding an actual green jacket.
No, that was I went to Goodwill, so we'd agreed to go to
71.
where we went. So that was the closest they had to a green jacket.
We're going to get some paint.
I think we need to spray
so.
paint this, yeah.
I think we
agree.
need to spray paint the jacket.
It needs to be greener.
I do too. It's olive right now. It's an olive color. Congratulations. That was a big win. Rory came back from, he was like, 7, 8 strokes back?
So started at 4 under, but then immediately triple bogeyed 1.
Yeah.
So before Scotty Scheffler even teed off, he was 9 back.
Yeah. Played unbelievable. That's the only thing that he seems to win is the FedEx Cups. He had, 2 wins this year, right?
3.
Canadian?
Yeah, 3.
What was the third?
CJ Cup.
What is that?
That was in Vegas. It was in the fall, though, so it's a carryover.
Oh,
So
no.
2021, 2022 season, he had 3 wins.
Because he won in the fall of 2021?
Because the season starts in the fall.
When else do they play in the fall?
Well, it's not a
All
calendar.
fall, really.
It's not
I mean,
they're
PGA
not
Tour is like all year.
Yeah, they're not a calendar year season. I mean, but so is hockey and NFL and basketball are all like that, right?
Yeah.
But it's a little more
I thought
obvious.
I thought they were off for like 3 or 4 months.
There's
No, they're
always
off for like
tournaments.
2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
There's
And then it
always
cranks back up.
tournaments
All right.
going on. Whether they're major or
But
not.
he had 16 starts this season,
This fucking guy.
13 top 25s, 10 top 10s, 7 top 5s, and 3 wins.
16 he only played 16 rounds.
Only played
or
16
tournaments. all year?
yeah. And then the 4 majors finished 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 8th. Mm-hmm. So it was a good season. Other than not having a major.
Exactly. Well,
He hasn't won a major
or
since-
one of the big ones. I mean, he didn't win the Players or anything else.
Yeah. But, I mean, he was also he
He won the tour championship.
was essentially the commissioner of the PGA Tour this year as well.
So he doesn't have a choice.
Winning the tour championship is a big deal. It means you were consistent enough all the way through the season to get a good position going
Mm-hmm.
into this weekend, and then he played better than everybody else this weekend by a pretty wide margin.
And he shot the best score
for the whole tournament.
even without the
Scheffler
handicap.
choked. There was no way around it. He just choked. It looked like he was nervous on the back 9 there. That's when I was texting you. I said, I think this is horrible for the PGA Tour this week. I think Rory is great as the face of the PGA. And look, this is the guy we were hoping for all these years after Tiger Woods. But him winning this week, I think, really fucks them heading into Boston for LIV.
So how do you
why do
answer
you-
an irrational actor who has unlimited funds? You up your war chest. You kind of restructure the PGA Tour, which they did, which Rory led with Tiger Woods for the next few seasons. So the top 20, top 30, top 40 guys are going to get paid more money.
Where's that money coming from, by the way?
They have a reserve, which they had to use for the pandemic. But yeah, they always have money on reserves. They're a nonprofit.
I'm sorry, what?
PGA Tour is a nonprofit. It's a charity.
One more time for the back row.
So like the
PGA
NFL
Tour
was
is a
until
nonprofit.
2018. The NFL was a nonprofit until 2018 as well.
They raise a lot of money though.
Sure.
Yeah, and then they give it to dudes
That's what happens.
who play golf.
Yeah.
No, but they
that's
also
what
have like
happens.
local charities as well. Like the Tour Championship in Atlanta. Like
I don't think I've ever seen. I said that you were like a domestic violence survivor for the PGA Tour, and that's what it is. I know you love the PGA. I love college football, but it's being ruined as well.
it's an American institution, both of them. But let me finish. PGA Tour upped their salaries and like the purses for the next few years.
Why?
So guys are going to get paid money that is kind of comparable to the major 4 sports. So
But
you're also going to
why
be able
did
to
they? Why did they up the money?
because they had to.
Right, because of LIV.
I mean,
it's the only way to stay competitive
part of the
against
reason.
LIV. Yes, that's the only reason.
I wouldn't. I think it's a mistake. I mean, look, if you want to raise salaries because you have the ability to, if you have the ability to raise salaries, you should raise fucking salaries.
Yeah, but you don't have a choice. Like, this is like you have to. Like, your foot is to the fire. Like, if you don't do this, there might not be a PGA Tour.
If it's me, then I have somebody other than Rory and Tiger talking about this 24 hours a day about how these are fucking pieces of shit.
No.
Like, fuck ever. Like, honestly, if I was the PR director for the PGA Tour, I would bring in a fucking national security expert and have them explain on a regular basis exactly what Saudi Arabia is up to on a day-to-day basis and what they're responsible for historically, and then say, hey, Cam Smith, if you want to go over there and deal with these people who fly planes into fucking buildings, then that's on you.
But again, like, these are all international.
We never really
dudes
got
that
to
are,
the bottom.
Yeah, we never did.
9/11.
That's what Trump said.
Yeah.
And,
we never got to the bottom of it.
most of these people that are leaving for LIV are international guys. They're not USA residents.
That's fine. They can be shamed like anybody else. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoyed Cam Smith and all of his shit up until the point where he fucking sold his soul to people who fucking support transnational terrorism. The end.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's unprecedented because it's literally a league that has bottomless pockets that's led by the Saudi Arabian government. This isn't just like someone's kind of like, it is the actual government that runs it.
Yeah.
And Greg Norman.
Yeah, and Greg Norman.
Yeah. It's super fucked up.
But they're all going to. There's going to be a mass exodus here coming up. Now, yesterday you said 6. So
6 confirmed names. I was just giving you confirmation. So it was Harold Varner.
No, but you said 6 was the
confirmed
that was
names.
all that was going to.
Because
leave.
Joaquin Neiman hasn't officially left yet.
Well, he's out of there. The press has said he is left. He is done.
Who's the press?
This was the Palm Beach Post. Which
Yes.
how would they know that?
That's very legit.
But how would they know that?
Either way, Neiman's probably gone. You're right. So that's 7.
So 7. And I'm going to keep this Delco delusion board up all year because I called CAA this morning. I got a buddy who works there.
Okay, let's go through. If you want to go through the agencies, I also have my homework.
For sure.
for it.
Go ahead.
Well,
So
hold on.
GSE Worldwide is one of the bigger agencies where all these guys are going from LIV. So far, Bryson, Abe Answer, Paul Casey, Jason Kokrak, Sergio Garcia, Louis Oosthuizen, Carlos Ortiz, Brandon Grace. Those are all GSE Worldwide guys. So they're already at LIV. The guys they have left on the PGA Tour that could potentially leave: Sam Burns, Joaquin, Sebastian Munoz, Jonathan Vegas, Doug Gim, CT Pan, Matthias Schwab, JJ Spawn, Steven Yeager, Bryce Garnett, Max McGreevy, Grayson Murray. Do those names really get you fucking juiced up? Other than Sam Burns.
It's half your term. It's half your. I mean, you're essentially splitting the tour into 2 now, making the competition shit on both sides.
Yeah, it's gonna be tennis, right?
What do you mean?
Isn't that what current tennis is right now? Like,
What?
Isn't there 2 different leagues that?
No, just one.
It's just, I mean, there's the ATP and the WTA, but that's men's and women's.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
But I mean, tennis is like, I mean, if you want to be really serious about what tennis is, it's like 8 dudes who can win a major.
who can win? Yeah. Same with the women.
So here are the guys that are already like officially tour committed and tour loyal. Rory, Rahm, Spieth, JT, Scheffler, Zalatoris, Homa, Morikawa, Xander.
Okay.
So like, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, the best. I guess it depends on from which perspective you're looking at, because as a fight fan, as a UFC fan, you will admit readily, especially with the recent examples, that a card with no names on it sometimes has quite a bit better fights than a card with a lot of names on it. But a casual gets drawn in by the names. You know what I mean?
So Rory
it's-
winning was like awesome for the PGA Tour.
I think he's right about this.
like Sepp
because-
Straka winning the FedEx Cup with like nobody's gonna watch that.
It is great for the PGA itself, just not today. Like yesterday, because you have LIV coming up on Thursday. All these people are going to defect. There's going to be a bunch of people jumping ship. So I talked to one of my agent buddies over at CAA. CAA's got a huge sports division. I was there for years. I chatted with him. So here's what they're doing, and here's what the players have asked their agents to do. Hey, do you guys want to play and LIV? I don't know, whatever. Why? How much money do you think we can get? And they were like, well, we can find out for you, and then you can make your own decision. Now, the agencies want this because they get 10%.
That's why they're pushing for it, because they're scumbags.
100%.
Because they're agents.
Yeah, it's
Right.
the same reason Freddie Freeman's a Dodger right now.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so
they're lying to them.
I understand that. But that's who they deal with on a day-to-day basis. That's who does their contracts. What they're going to do, and here's what he told me. Here's what they're currently doing.
Rory sat everyone down in Delaware last week, explained it all out. Like, because if you go to LIV right now, if you're the Taylor Gooches of the world and you have like no, like, kind of pre-qualified like to get into the majors, your world golf ranking's gonna drop like a rock because you're gonna play in all these tournaments that don't have world golf rankings for at least another like 4 to 5 years because LIV still has to apply for that. It's a whole process. So Taylor Gooch is not going to play in a major for like half his career. So a lot of these guys that don't have major success or are already in the majors, that I feel like that would automatically just disqualify you from playing in LIV.
They're going. So here's what the agencies are doing, by the way. Press packages, they're assembling these together. Now, LIV has actually asked for some interesting shit because they're doing this on the back end of books as well, where they're pulling all their social media numbers together, every single thing they got, demos, all that other shit. And they called in the ad agencies, so they're pitching them 80 to 90 page packets for their players just to get a number, just to get the feeler out there, see what that number is. And I think most of these guys will end up jumping.
You go to LIV, you also can't get sponsored by anybody. Everybody drops you. It's fucking poison.
Well, you can get sponsored by like Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're spending a lot of money on NIL deals or whatever. I think a lot of their resources are tied up in college.
And I mean, more power to you. Like Cam Smith, man, enjoy playing exhibition golf.
For $100 million, I think he will.
I don't think
because what is it? 18 tournaments a year? How many tournaments?
I think
is it?
the big selling point for Cam Smith to leave was he was going to be able to go to play the Australian tour a little bit more. So that's where he's from. He wants to go play kind of the Australian Open. He wants to be able to leave Jacksonville and just like that's going to be an awkward situation with him too. He's got to move because he lives like right next to like Jay Monahan, and he plays Sawgrass. Like that's his home course.
Yeah,
they're not going to let him play there anymore to like practice and shit.
Nah. Does he really care for $100 million?
Now you can build your own fucking golf course for $100 million.
Sure can.
I want to revisit this PGA Tour being a charity thing. I'm looking at their tax filings now. So this is from 2019.
The NFL used to do this.
Oh, yeah. This is from 2019. Total revenue $1.5 billion. Net income $72 million, which means 72 that didn't go to salaries or charities or anything else. That's just money that they put into the bank for the year.
Yeah.
Now, program services is 1.17 billion of that, and that is primarily salaries or sums being paid to people who win tournaments. $27.5 million on executive compensation, and then $94 million in additional salaries. They spend about, and I don't have the number for 19, but in 2020 they spent $203 million on charity, which means 13.5% of their revenue went to charity, which is technically legal. In America, you only have to send 2%.
Right.
To the actual charity.
Right.
Isn't that like, man, who does that? The breast cancer one or Mothers Against Drunk Driving?
It's Susan B. Komen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where they're just like, they just send like a roll of quarters.
Yeah, but it's not solely a charity. It's a charity. It's a sports league and a charity rolled into one.
No, I got it.
We got it.
They're using the charity to not pay taxes on the $1.5 fucking billion in revenue that they generate. Not generate entirely, but just as a single entity.
I think you need to respect their tax
how do you
strike.
not respect that of all the people on
What do
this
you mean?
desk right now?
Well, I mean, like all things being equal, I would expect people to pay some small amount in taxes to keep essential services, roads, and the military going. But this is just predatory, and it's the kind of attitude that leads to this shit like you're talking about right now. Well, everybody else is doing it. Why not just not do my fucking part too? You know what I mean?
Well, the players are independent contractors, so
it's quite a bit different to say that you making $80K or $100K or $50K or whatever people make a year, I shouldn't have to pay a bunch of taxes in an organization that does not much in the way of improving the community, I guess. Just making $1.5 billion and giving, 10 or 15% to charity, it's nonsense.
Well, LIV forced them into higher salaries, and that is going to go down.
It already did. I mean, yesterday, Sung Jae and Scotty made nearly $6 million each for finishing in second. Tom Hoagie made $1 million, finishing 10th.
Yep.
I mean, the purses are up already.
I will say this as a casual golf fan, like I don't like LIV is hot right now because it's new, right? And there's like there's narrative behind it.
But I don't feel
who watches
the need
it?
to watch it at all.
Right, and that's the thing is like that will cool. They can't
Yeah.
just be an antagonistic league forever. At some point, they have to put out a real product.
Right.
Right.
And what are they going to do? They don't have any tournaments with prestige.
They don't have a network that they air on. It's on YouTube.
They have
Well, that I actually prefer.
They have a couple.
That's awesome.
They've got a couple names for sure. Like for me as a casual, like Bryson or whatever. Even though I know it's
DJ Brooks.
as a deeper fan of it, they're like they weren't that good this year or whatever. They're still names, I guess. But like at some point, like there has to be a reason to tune in.
Well, that's why I don't think that the fucking PGA should be responding to all the antagonism, because that shit is a short fuse, and it's like you're canceling yourself. Essentially, most people who get canceled cancel themselves by overreacting to whatever stress is going on there. The PGA needs to keep if they want to do reforms in the game and pay people more, I support that. Do it, but they don't need to respond to every bit of antagonism. You don't need Rory and Tiger out there saying, "Oh, they're fucking assholes destroying the game." The PGA Tour should just keep their fucking mouth shut, except for one PR guy that just reminds everybody who Saudi Arabia is on a regular basis. They don't.
Yeah, they need to do what they need to do is that, and in a specific way. It's weird to me that they're not doing it. Like, motherfucker, act like you're at the country club and look down on those people.
Yeah.
They're so worthless that you just like, who are who's? I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know their name.
That's the speech that Tiger should have given a couple of weeks ago or whatever it was.
No, well, it wasn't a speech. It was like they got everyone together. They kind of restructured the PGA Tour. They handed it to Jay Monahan, and they're like, "Hey, you got to okay this, or like people are gonna go." So they did.
They're
they listened
gonna
to
go.
it. They saved Cam Young. Cam Young's gonna stay because of the changes they
Yeah,
made.
but Tiger had a heart-to-heart with the field, right?
Yeah. 20 guys, right?
It was 22 guys.
22 a day.
The only guy they were really concerned with was Joaquin. Joaquin's going to go. So 21 of the 22 are staying.
For now.
For now.
Yeah.
And, it was just they made structural changes to their own league because the PGA Tour is also a player-run organization. So they get to have a say in what the league is.
But is this different from any other year?
It's very expedited. So
Expedited? Why?
It's quicker because of LIV. You got to react.
You got to react.
You don't.
You do.
No, so let's think about this from a business perspective. Let's say you have a water company, right? You have a superior product that has good branding that everybody identifies with, and then you have a challenger. I'm Water Plus. Fuck you. And we're paying people $1 gajillion to do Water Plus ads. You just wait.
You would wait if it was like a normal company, not like another regime. Like
how long do you
government.
think Saudi Arabia is just going to dump money before they expect some kind of return?
I don't think they expect a return.
I don't think they
do
need a
either.
return.
Yeah.
There's some return. It may not be financial, but there's something that they're going to
Well,
get.
this is essentially, and the reason they're so loud is because this is propaganda.
Yeah, that's all
Like
it
it's
is.
a propaganda
sports
arm
washing.
of the Saudi regime.
So how does it help you to respond? So let's say you're president, right? Let's say you're Barack Obama, and it's 2012, and Vladimir Putin's talking shit about how great Russia is. Do you respond to every fucking thing he says?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't think
You
that's
do if they take all of your athletes.
But you were on record as saying you don't give a fuck about any of those athletes,
The ones that they've taken so far, other than Cam Smith.
right? So
Cam Smith's legit. That's the number 2 player in the world right
Brooks
now.
Koepka?
Sure.
You don't care about?
Koepka's kind of.
But the vast majority of their field are people that no one really gives a fuck about, right? So it's like Russia talking shit about, oh, we got fucking Crimea now. We're all like, nobody gives a fuck about Crimea.
Yeah, it's
dude.
like enjoy Cam Tringali,
Yeah.
who's never won on tour.
So
Harold Varner, who's never won on tour.
like I don't
taking a spot.
I just don't think it makes a lot of sense for the PGA to overreact here.
They should start getting really snobby about it.
Yeah.
And just being like,
It's
Just
not
be yourself.
overreacted.
Yeah.
It's trying to. For the longest time, the PGA Tour has always catered to the 125-man field, the guys that are at the bottom. Like everyone's equal. You got to earn your keep. In order to make your money, you have to actually perform.
I like that. That was my favorite part about golf.
Right,
to
but
be
no
honest.
one's tuning in to watch Cam Tringali. People are tuning in to watch Rory McIlroy. So your stars need to be paid like stars.
Yeah. Well, if they're doing this, if the players are assembling just to use this as an opportunity to improve their position, then I'm fine with that too. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Kind of it.
Yeah, and then the last part I heard, so he said expect 12 to 18 guys to jump that will go to LIV here in the upcoming months. And then he said there's one huge surprise out there. And I tried to get it out of him, and he goes, "No, motherfucker, you try to hire a host of ours. We know you're just going to say it on the show." And I was like, all right, cool. So he did not tell me.
It's Tiger Woods.
It's not Tiger Woods. It's
Tiger Woods' wife, ex-wife.
I mean, if they want to have Cantlay, take Cantlay.
I guess. Well, so I asked him about Cantlay.
What's Cantlay? He's like 6th in the world or some shit?
Yeah, but he's such a snooze.
So I asked about Cantlay, and he said they are trying to go after friends, because a lot of these guys play together in the offseason.
So Joaquin and Mito.
Yes.
Chili.
What about Happy Gilmore?
And then they're going for Cantlay and Xander Schauffele, because those guys are besties. So they're going to try to back up the truck to those guys. But it wasn't them, because I asked about them. He said it was a big surprise. And
It's not.
Cantlay's 3rd.
It's not Scheffler.
I don't think it's Scheffler either, because Scheffler just won, what, $16 million this year?
He won a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, he was the best golfer of the year.
Yeah.
So, sure. So I think, anybody outside the top 10, if I'm the PGA, you're probably concerned with. And we'll see. We'll see. But we're going to keep the board. We're going to keep the board. So you had 6. I think it's going to be 7 on Thursday.
I was just telling you confirmed names.
All right.
That's why
I'm telling you,
6.
you're probably looking at 18 here. You're probably going to lose, what, a third of your tour, I would imagine?
No, there's 124 or 125 tour cards, and then there's guys coming up from Korn Ferry that kind of go back and forth. Those bottom guys don't matter, though.
But 125, so how many do they have already? 30, 40?
They do 48 guys.
Yeah.
But, they're not all PGA Tour guys.
Okay. So
You have, Chase Koepka and shit.
I get it.
But, think of all those guys that kind of jump. So, what LIV's trying to make a play, too, for all the college guys. So, all the up-and-coming guys as well.
Oh, they're trying to buy the college kids.
Yeah, so, coming out of college, all the amateurs, the USAM winner, they're going to try to offer him.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. Well, it should be fun either way. It sucks for the product of golf itself, because I think, me personally, both leagues will be shitty. And then with the Rory thing, you just can't have the guy who's the richest on tour get everybody in the room and then win $18 million and say, no, everything is fine.
Scheffler won $6 million in second place. Not a big deal.
Anybody but Rory.
And also, everyone tuned
I think it would have been great. Actually, I texted you this. I think if Xander Schauffele would have won, that would have been the best use of that money.
I don't think so.
And they should have thrown it. Well, if he leaves, sure the fuck is. If he
but Xander's not a superstar.
He could be.
Either is Cantlay.
He could be. Xander won, 3 times this year?
Guys don't tune in for Xander.
But he won 3 times this year,
And the
correct?
reason the PGA Tour can up their purses is if people tune in and watch the product. People tune in and watch the product if Rory's in the mix.
Right, but he's
And Rory
not.
wins.
But he's not that much, and that's the problem.
When was the Jude Championship?
St. Jude?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was a couple weeks ago.
Okay. That got 3 million viewers on the Sunday, and the final 3.25 hours in the final round of LIV for Portland. I don't know when that was. When was Portland?
That was the second event.
Okay. They got 100K.
Yeah, I'm probably on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
No total.
Yeah, no one.
on YouTube. Yeah.
No one
But
watches it.
Yeah.
No one watches it on Facebook.
So LIV, if you're a LIV guy, you're either a troll, you're a Let's Go Brandon guy, or it's just nobody actually watches the product.
how
It's
does
like
that
shit
make-
talking the WNBA, but nobody
Yeah.
actually.
I still don't understand how that makes sense. That people who are conservative are somehow okay with the Saudi government. It just bounces off my brain. It will not penetrate my brain.
Also,
Yeah.
if you look at all the fucking
Money. That's it.
If you look at everybody that
They're not
responds,
getting paid. The fucking dude on YouTube that's like, hell yeah, fuck the
yeah,
PGA.
everyone that dick
Oh, you're
rides
saying the
on
guys
YouTube,
who are watching it.
Yeah.
Nobody watches
gotcha,
it.
gotcha.
Everyone that dick rides on YouTube and Twitter and stuff, it's accounts made in September. Accounts or not September,
Yeah, it's probably the
August,
Saudi
July.
government.
Probably
They're
the Saudi government, yeah.
It's bots.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. But either way, it's going
But
to
you
make the
can't-
product suck on both sides,
You
and
can't-
that's what's unfortunate
You
about
can't lose Cantlay and Schauffele. The PGA's got to do whatever they can to keep those guys.
They will, because they were in that meeting.
That's 3 of your top 5 players in the world are gone.
Right,
you can
so-
say whatever you want to about the balance being lower guys, but 3 of the top 5 dudes leave your organization. That hurts.
They
It's
re-
three
that's
of
why
like
they
it's
reacted.
3 of the current top 5. So no one knows about. No, I can't. I can make a tennis analogy, but no one besides me will get it. But what I'm saying is aside from
I will.
a couple of those guys, if there was a Saudi tennis league created 6 years ago, and we were all like, oh fuck man, they got Kei Nishikori. He's a top 5 fucking player in the world. When was the last time you heard his name? Like, he was like a top 5 for like a minute. You know what I mean?
It's
like, there's
whoever's
guys
hot,
that like
yeah.
pop in and out, and like, but unless it's a superstar,
Right, like Danny Willett got up to 11 after he won the Masters. So it's like, Danny Willett's not really a name.
Nobody is, though, besides Rory.
Yeah, but we're talking about narrative here.
that's all that matters for LIV, though.
Well, I know, but narrative for LIV right now is that 3 of the top 5 golfers in the world right now are now mine, if indeed they move over.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Including
that's-
the guy who won the last
Also,
major of this season.
I mean,
which
Spieth's a
worked
name,
pretty
JT's
well.
a name, Rahm's a name.
I know, but they're not playing well. Like, Rahm didn't win at all this year.
He won the Mexico Open.
Oh, that's right, in Mexico. Well, he was the only one there. He was playing against himself.
He played. There was no other, I think, top 40 guys in the tournament.
No,
Yeah.
there wasn't. But again, making the product shitty on both sides is exactly what I think is going to happen. I expect another. Homeboy doesn't really lie. 12 to 18 to go, and then whoever the big surprise is, we'll find out who that is.
And I guarantee it's all these dudes from GSE that are like they're no names. Like literally Doug Gim, CT Pan, Matthias Schaub.
Is
JJ
GSE
Spawn.
the only fucking sports agency that doesn't
It is
have
nuts.
a lot of Jewish people running it? Because, seriously, why in the fuck? I don't understand how anybody could deal with the fucking Saudi government.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's what they don't fully grasp is not only are you just playing golf, like, no, they're going to send you to do propaganda.
Yeah.
They're going to have Patrick Reed go to like Saudi schools and be like, hey, look what they're teaching the kids. It's not that bad, right?
yeah.
It is that bad.
It is
that
that
bad.
bad.
It's
Well, they're
Wahhabist
teaching
Islam.
Death to
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
And Captain America, a.k.a. like Patrick Reed from the Ryder Cup is endorsing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just riding Saudi cocks now, huh?
Yeah, dude. Greg Norman's got his own villa there. But the same look, and I'll tell you the same thing. Same thing is happening in college football, which we'll switch on over to now, including watching this weekend's games. Fucking Northwestern and Nebraska are terrible. I think this is a precursor for what we're in for the season, to be honest with you. I think we have 3 good teams, and then the rest of whatever the fuck is going to happen. But, man, there's a massive disparity in college football as well. I can't believe how bad that game was, Nebraska versus
It was a great
Northwestern.
game.
Yeah,
What
that
are
was
you
a
talking about?
that was
It
a
was
blast
awesome.
of a game.
For them. But as far as, like, if you're looking at – because
Just an enjoyable fan. I have no stake in either squad.
It was a bad game if you're a Nebraska fan. It was a fucking nightmare game if you're a Nebraska.
they
fan.
were the favorite on that side, right? You guys
By
said to win
13,
the
yeah.
no. I mean, not
it's-
only 13, but they were the favorite to win that side of the Big Ten.
No, they were
second favorite.
second favorite.
yeah.
They
Who
were
was
Wisconsin
first?
was the favorite.
Wisconsin was one.
250, yeah.
But they were. I mean, what was Nebraska like -2 or plus 250?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
I
they
think
were short odds.
It was pretty short, and this is I think honestly this is the worst thing that could have happened in Nebraska because this is a replay of every fucking tough game they played last year, and they're still losing. They lost like 7 games by 7 points or less last year.
and so there's a
and
thing
like
in,
4 of them were by 3 points
Yeah.
or less.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean?
and there's a thing with that where in any sport, football or whatever else, where like there's just like a literal luck factor. Like it's like a fumble, right? Like if there's no skill, there's skill to forcing a fumble. There's literally zero skill to recovering a fumble. Recovering a fumble is a roll of the dice.
But this game to me was self-inflicted.
Right. Well, so that's the
you
thing,
don't
though.
onside kick.
You can't
in
have
the
that
third period the third quarter for no fucking reason.
No.
Element
You
of
can't have,
surprise.
especially when you are fully dominating them at that point.
Yeah, well, the element of surprise is Scott Frost is going to be out of a job by October 6th.
Yeah, always a good sign to throw your brand new staff under the bus.
Everyone.
Week 1.
He threw everyone under the bus. And then you had a kid who's the most positive human being on the planet. And I would love to have
Actually,
you
the most
work
positive
here.
guy on the planet is that dude in Italy that has AIDS, monkeypox, and COVID.
We don't know that he's happy. We don't
Well, I know
that.
he's positive for
Yeah,
all
it's-
of those things.
But
Who was positive?
there was a guy for Nebraska that they interviewed after the game, and he goes,
With Thompson.
I'm happy about this. He goes, we played as bad as we could possibly play, and we just barely lost. The rest of the year, we're going to be scary. And I'm like,
Yeah.
bud.
I mean, give me all your Nebraska stock right now. I'll take that penny stock. Because there's
You
only
can
going
have
I
it.
over
am
here.
probably still gonna bet, but more of a sprinkle now, but money line when Oklahoma
I
comes
mean,
to Lincoln.
I told you I took Northwestern in the points. I told you to stay away from the under on our outside the top 25.
He did.
And then I told you Nebraska's probably going to be 6-6, 7-5.
Which they were 3-9 last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they'll probably take a step forward.
And I
It
think-
looked like a 6-6 team.
And
to
I
be
think
honest with
Northwestern
you.
is also going to be like 6-6, 7-5. I think they're solid.
Well,
I liked what I saw from Holinski.
Solid shit.
I think Nebraska's
both
gonna
of them
lose.
are shitty.
I think Nebraska's going to lose 7 games.
Who do you got on their schedule? I got that Oklahoma one. Go ahead and chalk up as a loss.
It's in Lincoln. I'll bet you right now.
It's a
Nebraska. I
rivalry game.
will
Ohio State.
guarantee you right now Nebraska beats Oklahoma at home.
Yeah.
What do you want to bet on
I
that?
like that.
What do you want to bet on that?
We can figure out some type of mayor bet.
You got a couple weeks.
It's week 4.
North Dakota and Georgia Southern are the next 2. Those are not real. But then they play Oklahoma at home.
Loss.
They play Indiana at home.
Loss.
Rutgers.
No, they may beat Indiana.
They're going to beat Indiana.
They might. Yeah, I think they lost their quarterback. You're right. They might. I think Penix is gone.
At Rutgers, that's a win. At Purdue, TBD on that. Right.
I don't know
yeah.
what to make of Purdue.
Purdue in the middle of the season, they always fuck somebody up.
Yeah.
But also
Yes, they
Purdue,
do.
we're going to learn about Purdue a lot against Penn State.
Yeah,
week
that's
1.
true.
That's a fun game, week 1.
Yeah. And then Illinois, Minnesota. Illinois, they'll probably beat.
I don't know. I was high on Illinois this year.
Yeah, maybe.
Didn't they shit kick Wyoming? I turned it off at halftime.
The
Yeah.
seven
Brett
losses
Ball.
I was
Ball.
picking for the 7 losses I figured they would lose either to Illinois or Minnesota or something like that.
I agree with that.
They could lose
Then they
both those
close.
games.
Yeah. Then they close out with Michigan, Wisconsin, and at Iowa. They're not winning any of those games.
No.
So that's 7 losses.
And they probably more than likely will be without a coach then. What do you know the date of that Oklahoma game?
It's September 17th, and then they play October 1st against Indiana the next week, and then 7th against at Rutgers, which is a nice game for a new coach to start on.
Yes.
Well, they have a bye after Oklahoma.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Okay. So probably after the Oklahoma game is where they let him go. Because there is something in his contract where if he's fired by October 6th, the university saves millions of dollars.
I don't
so
see how
look
you
for
keep
that to
him.
happen. I don't either.
Honestly, after all this shit, it's been like multiple seasons in a row of underperformance, and then you start off the season this way. I mean, anything can happen. They could win out the next 4 or 5 games and beat Oklahoma, and he keeps his job for the rest of the year and still is a 6-loss team, but who the fuck knows, right?
That's a 3-game improvement, right?
I guess.
I guess.
Man, I mean, but he was there when it's, I don't know.
Nebraska needs to understand what they are now.
They're awful.
And they've been that way for a while. They've been that way, I'll call it like 2006 is when it was over, when it ended.
I think that
Bo Pelini will win 9 games a year, and they
Yeah, they did
threw him out of Lincoln.
the Indomitian Sioux years that kind of came back. They got fucked out of a Big 12 championship.
yeah.
But
And
Sue probably should have won Heisman.
Delco got a
Yes.
lot of heat on the boards for this Nebraska situation, but he was on the right side of that.
He was on the right side, so was Rob.
I was on the
we were-
wrong
we
side.
were
I
wrong.
picked Nebraska to cover,
And he took the under hard.
and I was big on the under.
I took the
Obviously, dog shit.
Yeah.
But we were both on thinking Nebraska could. We were like, I think Nebraska's gonna fucking win the West.
still
You were
could.
trying to talk me. I told you 6-6, 7-5.
You motherfucker! You texted me in the first quarter of that game. We nailed that Nebraska called you. They're totally winning the
I
West.
did nail Nebraska because they're going to beat Oklahoma and
They're
Lincoln.
not a prayer.
You
God damn it,
texted me.
They're gonna
saying
be 7
that
and 5.
We were right about winning the West.
I was trying to
Luckily,
help-
I have the receipts.
All right,
Luckily,
I'll
you
pull it
won't
up
be
now.
picking that week.
I was trying to
that'll
help.
be inside
I was
the top
trying to
25
help you
game.
just now. You were getting attacked, and I handed you a gun, and you put it right in your mouth and pulled the fucking trigger.
That's the
Are you
thing too,
kidding
right?
me?
I get enough wrong on this show that you don't need to group me in with Rob when he gets stuff wrong. You know, it's not ball busting when I don't get it wrong. Just drag me for the shit I do get wrong.
Speaking of which, you got it wrong on mybookie.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros doubles your deposit. Do you love sports? How about making money? If you answered yes to either of those questions, then mybookie.com is the place for you. Not only does betting with mybookie.com make every game more exciting, but when you sign up using promo code Drinkin Bros, your first deposit is instantly doubled up to $1,000 with thousands of bets to make on all your favorite sports. There's no shortage of ways for you to win at mybookie.com. On top of having amazing lines and props, mybookie.com is also home to several exclusive contests and promotions that you can't find anywhere else. Get off the couch and get into the game with mybookie.com and turn your love of sports into your new side hustle. Head to mybookie.com today and use the promo code Drinkin Bros to get your first deposit instantly doubled up to $1,000 and start winning today. Bet on anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.com. I went back to mybookie.com and I bet on that Hawaii game. Took Vandy and the over in that, and it was my savior again. Doing that week 0 though is dark, and I know how dark that is. So you don't
Hawaii
have
might
to
be the
fucking
worst team in
judge
the
me.
country.
Man, they were so bad because Vanderbilt.
thin. They're so
Vanderbilt
thin.
is really fucking bad.
Vandy's going to win 3 games this year.
Yeah, and that's so looking at those games, again, when I said it's a precursor for the rest of the season, I think we're probably looking at 3 or 4 good teams tops, and the rest of it is probably going to be like Saturday.
Yeah,
So
but
we're
that's
looking at a college football season?
Yeah.
Like that's every fucking year.
How
Yeah.
do we but how do we change this, I guess?
It's going in the wrong direction too. So there was a time of relative parity in college football, and that was when the scholarship limit was put in place, right? There was, because it used to be schools like Oklahoma, Ohio State, USC, whomever, could just sign everybody. There was no scholarship limit. They could just fucking put as many of the 5 stars as they wanted on their team, sometimes just to keep them from another team.
Yeah.
Then there was a scholarship limit put in place. I forget when, but it was like the 80s, early 90s, something like that.
90s.
Okay, so then you had teams like K-State competing for a national title. I understand Bill Snyder's a good coach, but come on, it's fucking K-State, right? You even had like Tennessee competing for a national title. They're a blue blood-ish, whatever. And like Oregon's not a historically like amazing team. You had these teams competing for national titles. Now what has happened is NIL. So the scholarship limit is superfluous. It is unnecessary.
Yeah, but
Also the transfer portal.
and the transfer portal.
But the reduction in parity predates the NIL, right?
It has
It's been when's the last time that any team other than Clemson, Oklahoma State, or Alabama,
Ohio State.
Ohio State, Alabama, and Clemson, when's the last time one of those or those 3 plus somebody else wasn't the case? And it was like 2014, right? 15.
Florida
that
State.
loss.
Time.
I think that
13.
loss of parity. It felt a little temporary because there was almost like a Moneyball situation going on in the early 2000s to mid 2010s when the spread offense got introduced, essentially, where people were, they were moneyballing it. They're like Oakland-ing it. Like they were using like things to their advantage. They were scouting well to use their system or whatever. People caught up with that. People took it to the big schools like Urban Meyer at Florida, obviously Ohio State too, but really at Florida is where like
After he took Utah to a
right. So you
undefeated
had a sort of Moneyball situation with the spread offense and scouting. Scouting and sites like 247, they weren't really amazing at identifying talent yet. There were probably 3 stars in 2004 that should have been 4 or 5 stars, that type of thing. That has changed, right? So when Moneyball first started, it was all about on-base percentage. Then what did Billy Beane do? He switched to launch angle and fly ball rate, right? So I think we were maybe going to get into something like that, some sort of situation like that. But the NIL threw like a different curve in because unlike baseball where the pay structure is relatively always the same, whatever, blah, 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 this is like essentially an entire new payroll system along with scholarships. And that's a wrench that only helps or mostly helps the big boys, unless you're, I guess, a school like Oregon who has Nike or something.
There's no reason that only what we consider to be big football schools should have access to that kind of money.
And it's not like SMU is going to pay literally every single one of their football players and basketball players, regardless of if they're great or dog shit, $35,000 a year. Minimum, bang, that is your base salary.
But they're also SMU.
Right. But you're going to have schools like that that can do it. And honestly, any major state school, like Missouri or maybe even UCF, should have enough rich alumni, enough rich engaged alumni where they should be able to do that as well.
Yeah.
It's about connecting with them and getting them to do that.
Theoretically, Harvard or USC or Berkeley should have the best football team in the country.
Harvard for sure. Oh yeah, for sure.
Harvard's got like a $35 billion endowment.
Harvard plays Ivy League though, so they're not
they're not D1.
But you could change it because like what Deion Sanders is doing at an HBCU right now is fucking insane. He's picking off top recruits.
And Princeton plays D1 basketball.
No, they all do. The Ivy League is just their football thing is different. It's like its own. It starts later in the season.
It's its own league.
It's its own thing.
Yeah.
No, we get it.
I'm just saying.
if you
I'm
wanted
just
to
saying
do
hypothetically,
it,
like
you could pay him off for sure.
There are schools that are quite a bit richer than any public school. Like USC should be able to buy every player.
Agreed, and they probably will.
Well,
they'll probably especially if they are legit going to the Big Ten, which I believe they are.
Who's this?
USC.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, they are.
but you
that
also
deal
have
is done.
it's just
that deal
that-
is signed.
you also have academic standards for certain schools.
For some of them, like Northwestern's not ever going to do it, even though they have a massive endowment.
Duke and Carolina both kind of threw those out the window.
Oh yeah.
Well, at North Carolina when they made up schools,
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
did North
classes
Carolina ever
for
have
some.
it? I mean, yeah, they have academic standards for like some white middle class kid in Raleigh, but not for, someone who can dunk.
But by the way, here's why I think it sucks. So I'm going to the Ohio State Notre Dame game this weekend. I'm amped, obviously, because I'm an alumni, and congratulations, it's going to be a fucking party, and that's it, right? But the spread on this game is now up to 17.5. You're playing a top 5 school.
Great.
And it's minus 17.5?
Because you have no idea what to expect from Notre Dame this year.
No idea what to expect from a new coach. Also, it's a preseason ranking, so what are they going to be at the end of the year, right? Like you're playing a top 5 team. That's only on speculation.
But it's on speculation. But if you're speculating that within the top 5, another team can beat another team by virtually 3 scores to start the season,
because
that's crazy.
You have established guys, right? Like Notre Dame has Tyler Buckner coming in. No idea what he's going to be. Right, like he could be a total wild card if he starts torching your defense.
Why put them at 5 then? Why put Notre Dame at 5?
Because of the name.
Yeah, it's the name. Yeah. It's all the same thing it always is. It's
preseason rankings are it's just name recognition.
Ohio State could trot out a literal team of toddlers and they'd
Clemson's
be ranked
4.
18th.
I think
Clemson's 4 after
Clemson's 4.
the worst offensive performance I've ever seen from them.
For a season. Yeah. But this sucks to me, and it's like, dude, I think this game, after watching this last weekend's game, I think Ohio State probably wins by fucking 30 points in this game.
Okay.
Because there's that much of a difference between the real top 3 schools versus everyone else, and I don't think it's good for college football.
17 feels like a lot to me. I don't know. Notre Dame, if there's one thing they can do right, it's defense. As long as Notre Dame isn't just throwing like egregious picks.
But you have the most high-powered offense in the league. I mean, I don't know how you stop it.
They play good defense. It's they can do enough. Like they're not going to win, but they can do enough to
part of me. So
not lose by
I looked
18.
into these
Right.
alt lines that you were talking about because I don't typically do that. You can jack this spread up and get a 3-1 odd at plus 30. I might take it.
I don't buy that.
What's the over?
The over's 58.5.
So Vegas is predicting a 38-21 game, basically.
But also, you got to realize your defense is stinky, right?
No. So Holly Rowe just went. She covered it, and she was like the defensive line for Ohio State, and they're all because they were all young, and then
but they were super bad last year,
terrible last year, and so they fired the defensive coordinator, and then they brought in one of the best in the nation. They got Jim Knowles, so he's there now from Oklahoma State, and it's like we'll see what happens with a team that doesn't have an offense in Notre Dame. This could get real ugly because I don't know anybody on the team, and then the other kid is out for the year. Their wide receiver just tore his ACL, so he's out for the year.
No, I don't like Notre Dame this year at all. They're not a top 5 team. They might end up in the top 25 just because their strength of schedule is insane, and they might pull out wins based on their defense. But
it's not like a week 1 cupcake game.
It's not a cupcake game, but just on sheer talent.
Yeah, but a week 1 cupcake game for Ohio State would be 34.5 to 38. Not 17,
right.
Yes.
Right.
It's 17.5 against a team that is a top 5 team.
A team that will probably finish in the top 25, yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's the point being made here, and it's kind of fucked, to be honest.
It's not good for football, man. And I've listened to every single analyst for their prediction of the year. It's the same 2 teams. Who's going to win the national
Ohio
championship?
State, Alabama.
What'll really tell you what's going on this year, because Ohio State, whatever, they're Ohio State. Alabama's Alabama, so on and so forth. What happens with Utah and Florida is what's going to tell you if there's anyone else in this fucking.
I think A&M as well.
And
maybe.
Who are they playing week 1?
Let's see.
So
I just mean
since you brought up Florida, I just had a conversation with Nick, our buddy, because we're going to the Tennessee-Florida game in Tennessee right before we host Rob O'Neill's charity. We always do a live show there with those guys. What is with Florida? Because no one's talking about them. I don't know who their quarterback is. I don't know much about this head coach. It's the strangest offseason for
Richardson, right? The kid that kind of came in a few plays last year where he just like bust off.
And they
I'm asking
like
you guys because they're not ranked, so they've currently got them 37 right now.
Yeah, I mean they hired a new guy.
It's Napier.
Yeah, I mean they hired. It's a seemingly good hire. A
lot of guys left.
Yeah, and Mullen could not recruit.
He just didn't want to recruit.
Yeah, like Mullen was a shitty recruiter. Great offensive mind. Should not be a head coach. Should be an offensive coordinator.
Yes.
So, yeah, Mullen didn't fucking recruit anybody, so the cupboard's a little fucking bare at Florida right now.
So
Napier
if they get housed, that's the telltale for college football? the
No,
rest
I'm
of these
saying if
teams?
Utah doesn't win convincingly or fucking loses in the swamp,
Which they might not, because historically Utah always starts out slow. It's in the swamp. It's going to be hot. It's going to be muggy. It's going to be just weather they're not used to.
Yeah.
It's not going to be at elevation. Like, it's just I don't see Utah boat race in Florida.
I don't need Utah to boat race Florida. I need Utah to win by like a touchdown or more.
I can see that. Yeah.
That's what I need.
I've-
if Utah wins by 2 or fucking loses, then I'm starting to be like, I don't fucking know.
That is my lock of the week on our college football show. Since if you're watching now, Dan and I will be doing the top 25 show. What is it, tomorrow? Does that start tomorrow?
I think it's on the schedule tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's my lock of the week already. It's Utah -2 on that one. The only guy that didn't put Ohio State or Alabama in his picks was Desmond Howard. And a bunch of people hit me up with this picture and asked me to talk about it. His Final Four are Texas A&M, Pittsburgh,
I have Pitt in the Final Four.
Michigan, and Baylor. So he has no Alabama,
He just wants to be different.
no
Yeah.
Ohio State.
Yeah. I respect at least, like, you can't just have everybody be like, oh, that's it, Alabama, blah, blah, blah.
I like the A&M pick. I
picked
seem to
A&M
be
to
the
win it
only
all.
one picking USC in the Final Four.
I picked Pitt to be in my Final Four because I think they're going to win the ACC.
You have them in there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But they would have to go undefeated then, right?
Yeah, which they will. They don't play Clemson, I don't think,
They don't
So
play
they'd
Clemson
have to
until
play
the
Clemson
national.
in the-
until the
they're gonna-
ACC championship.
Yeah. But if they lose that, would you put them in?
No.
No, of course not. But
No.
they probably won't.
But I think they beat
Clemson
them.
sucks,
Yeah.
man. God, they're fucking.
Clemson also has to make the ACC championship, and NC State's not a fucking slouch this year.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Look, I'm not saying they're fucking great. What I'm saying is they can win a game. They can win a game.
Wolfpack. Oh.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Shut up.
We'll find out. But this weekend, the other big games on tap are Georgia versus Oregon. That spread is fucking 17 as well.
I don't buy that at all. I think Oregon's going to show up.
Oh, you see, so you think that's going to be close?
Yeah.
Okay, for Oregon, Georgia.
I mean,
Well,
what
they
do-
have their head coach is Georgia's defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what do we expect out of Georgia's defense? It's hard to say right now.
It's hard to say for the whole team because they lost
Well, we know
a
their-
record number of players.
We know
to
their
draft.
offense is going to suck. The defense, though, hard to say.
Yeah.
Is it when you're just replacing dudes in the trenches like that? I mean, it just as long as you don't do, as long as you stay within yourself.
Ohio State just went through it. They
Yeah,
had
they
years.
just went through
They had
it,
years
yeah.
of Bosa's, and then 1 year you don't get the fucking recruits, or the DC's not good, and you fucking suck out loud.
Yeah.
And they got exposed big time last
Yep.
year.
I mean,
And there's always a
weren't you
down year with the defense. So we had Bosa again, and then Chase Young.
Yeah.
And we tore everybody's faces off. All of them won Rookie of the Year in the
Since
NFL.
like
and
2014,
defensive
that's
Rookie
been
of the
a
Year.
tight ass defense.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Georgia, it's. I wouldn't say that it's a system defense. They just have great athletes. I mean, it's like the old school Ravens. It's a gang tackle mentality.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. You can replace that, but
With the dudes that they get to, and I've noticed this on Georgia even before Kirby Smart was there, but definitely since Kirby Smart was there, it's like nobody, except maybe when they play Alabama, I guess, nobody slides. No Georgia players slide off a runner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody slides out of. Nobody
good
runs.
tackling, yeah.
Yeah, like if a Georgia arm touches your fucking thigh, you go to the ground. There is no breaking tackles like that. No easy broken
I
tackles.
will say, though, college football, very top heavy, but it shouldn't ruin the enjoyment of the sport. Like, there's so many different aspects that, like, different teams in different schools just, like, they know they're never going to play for a national championship or they're never going to get to the top of the mountain. But there's, like, different, like, it's a successful season's like 8-4 or like 9-3. It's kind of like being an F1 fan where you're like cheering for a 5th place finish or something.
And the other thing with that, too, is with college football, and it's the same with college basketball, this is why the NFL sucks, is because you can actually, like, you almost get more enjoyment out of the sport because there's so many different styles played, especially by the mid-tier teams, where, like, in the NFL and even with the higher, like, college tiers at this point, the Bamas, Georgias, Ohio State spreads it out a little more, but, like, and Oklahoma for sure does, but, like, you kind of just see the same fucking type of game. Like, it's fun to watch football expressed in many
Where there's
different
styles.
ways. Yeah. Styles make fights.
Yeah, I enjoy watching it and gambling on it, but seeing the team that was supposed to win the other side of the Big Ten get worked like that, because that was the worst. It was one of the worst defense I've ever seen.
Wisconsin's going to probably win the Big Ten again, or the Big Ten West.
I mean, look, since Nick Saban took over at Alabama, how many teams have won more than one championship? Alabama, Clemson.
Ohio State.
No, not since
Oh,
Nick
no,
Saban
no,
took
you're
over.
right. You're right. You're right.
That's it.
Alabama,
That's it.
Clemson, end of fucking list.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he just signed an extension for, what, 8 more years?
Yeah, and Clemson isn't winning anytime soon.
Nope. I'm with you.
I don't think.
I'm with you.
I think Miami's going to come up in the ACC, and I think
I
fucking
think they're a
Pitt-
year early.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I think
I
Pitt's.
think
Pitt's going to continue to improve. I don't see. I've heard some Florida State rumblings. They're not even close,
Norvell.
in my opinion.
There's no point to firing Norvell, I feel like, though. Like, right? Like,
I think
yet.
in 2 years.
Not unless you got somebody else.
I
Let's
think,
look
yeah,
at-
Dion,
but I think in
yes.
2 years you get Dion there, and I think he could turn that program around. And I think that's probably his end game, because you want to see prime time on the national stage. Like they're not going to televise. What is it, Jackson State?
Yeah.
I don't even know the
They'll
name
get
of the
some
school.
ESPN time, but yeah, not nothing serious.
Right. If he went to Florida State, I think it's game on. To Dan's point about Miami. Miami has fucking money and they're spending it, dude. And yes, I think
Ball can recruit.
I think,
people
and I
wanna
think
go to
this,
Miami.
this year's a little early because he's got to get his feet underneath him. But yeah, look out for Miami in the next coming years, and then they could take advantage of Clemson because that's the only team in that whole fucking.
And they probably have Miami probably has the best quarterback in the conference.
Who is it?
Tyler Van Dyke.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real. I don't know who the fuck that is.
You'll know his name.
All right, we'll find out. Not this year.
No, last year he started to torch defenses. Like he was yeah.
All right, we'll find out. We'll switch on over to football. The fantasy football drafts for Drinkin' Bros are tonight, tomorrow, and I think Wednesday. Got a bunch of leagues. Thanks for signing up, everybody. We had everybody subscribe to the channel, send a screenshot in. With that, everybody asked why we draft so late. This is a perfect example of it. People will get cut right around this time of year. They'll get hurt or they will be out for the year. This is one of the strangest stories that I've seen. Was there was a guy that I was high on, the running back for Washington, that I told everybody was going to draft, Brian Robinson. He got fucking shot multiple times yesterday and is in the hospital. It is
that bad?
unlikely that he will play. I guess it was an attempted robbery. Really fucking bizarre story, but he was everybody's sleeper. Matthew Berry has disappeared. He's no longer with ESPN anymore.
Where'd he go? He started with somebody else.
I'm not sure.
I think it's
See with some
Didn't he
gambling
start his
site.
own site or something like that?
something like that.
It's
Yeah.
a fantasy site, and that's all they do.
Yeah, it's owned by the Saudi government, I think.
Wouldn't surprise me. But the Brian Robinson thing is weird. Also, Sony Michel got released from the Dolphins.
He will be on somebody's team tomorrow.
I agree.
That dude ran for 840 yards last year as a split back. Like it was him and whatever the fuck the other dude's name is who had like 500 yards.
What was his yards per carry though? I remember when he was with the Patriots, it was really bad.
Hold on, let's look it up.
Who is on the Dolphins roster that
was
you're cutting
four-
Sony Michel?
It was 4.1 yards per carry. That's not bad.
That's not
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
No.
And
Well,
then
with the
Darryl-
Patriots, I think it was in the threes.
Yeah, but
Daryl Henderson Jr. was the other guy, and he ran for 688 yards, 845 to 688. So I don't think Sony Michel is never going to be a solo guy. I don't think. But now, like you,
that barely exists in the NFL.
Yeah, I
anymore.
expect the fucking Chiefs or somebody to
Falcons.
pop him up right now. No,
Falcons need bodies. They need people.
yeah, I don't think
They
you
need people.
You don't bring in the fucking reigning Super Bowl defender to play for the Falcons. That just seems like
God damn
too
it,
much.
man. Garoppolo's going to remain with the 49ers, they say, all through 22. Look for the trading deadline. See how
Well,
Trey
that means
Lance does.
Cleveland's going to stick with Brissett at least until week 12.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think that
Honestly,
Deshaun Watson decision forced him into it.
Yeah, and if you're Cleveland and it's week 12 and you're fucking like, I don't know, 7-4 or some shit, do you even bring?
Probably happy, right?
Yeah, you definitely would be happy. And
Very
two,
happy.
do you even bring Deshaun Watson in at that
Yes.
point? I would not.
You don't have a choice. You paid him $245 million. I think they're fucked.
Well, they're going to be fucked either way.
As long as he knows your offense and knows what he's doing, and Deshaun Watson is very stupid socially, apparently, but still like he's not just like some athletic freak. Like that guy's a smart fucking quarterback.
Yeah,
like,
for
he knows
sure.
how. Like
He's good.
Yeah,
But he hasn't played in 2 years.
I get that.
2.5.
It's a long time.
A long time. The other part of this is Baker Mayfield will be starting for a very long time in Carolina.
Let's go.
Sam Darnold has high ankle sprain. He's going to be out for probably about 6 weeks there. So
My Panthers.
gross.
Yeah.
Gross. You know what else is gross too? Like I think the NFL is. I love gambling, so I don't give a shit, and I will watch football till the cows come home. But watching these preseason games and some of these teams, man, there's going to be a lot of shitty teams in the NFL, and I'll start with mine. The Atlanta Falcons are going to be horrific. Carolina Panthers are going to be horrific.
Here's the problem, because here's the difference between college and the NFL, right? It's almost like it's this weird thing where America's favorite sport has like massive opposite end of the spectrum problems, where college football, massively top heavy, whereas the NFL, it's so much parody that it just feels like you're watching like a gray screen every week. Like it is soulless fucking like coin flip games, and where it sucks, man. Like the Chiefs are the only team, and I guess maybe the Bills, that even gets me like remotely interested. Most of these teams, even the other good ones, are just like it's like watching like I don't know, like someone like crush it in like a cubicle. You know what I mean? Someone like crush their job in a cubicle. It is the NFL is the fluorescent lights of sports. Like it's fucking awful.
I'm going to be curious to watch some Broncos games this year. Because that dude hasn't had a good team in a long time, and now he's got like Jerry Jeudy.
Let Russ cook.
So
Yeah,
that's
that guy.
cool.
Yeah,
As
but-
far as the Panthers go, like whatever hope they may have right now will be gone in week 3 or 4 when Christian McCaffrey goes out for the season.
Exactly.
He's played 10 of the last 33 fucking games.
Man,
I'm not drafting him tonight.
I know that guy. I know he was like, I'm a running back. Okay, and I'm gonna play running back.
They paid him as a running back.
That dude should have immediately turned himself into a slot receiver when he went.
But he
to the
got
NFL.
$45 million to be their running back is the problem.
I mean, and
he's
that's
played
fine.
4 games.
Look, there's a difference between being Chase Daniel and somehow conning NFL teams into giving you tens upon tens of millions of dollars over
Great
your
locker
career,
room guy, yeah.
and you're never gonna play. And Christian McCaffrey getting an extra $20 million when he was going to be set for life anyway, but wanted to play and knew he could play and now won't play because he destroyed his body. Like the money, at some point, the money shouldn't matter to you if you love what you're doing. Like Chase Daniel loves what he's doing, but is doing the only thing he can do. Christian McCaffrey could have done a lot, but he decided to let his body get fucking obliterated for an extra like $20 million, whatever. Like, is that really worth it? You only get to do this once. Like, you can't do it again. You can't go back. Like,
well, when's his contract up? Because it may not just be for an extra 20. He may be losing money. You know what I mean? By putting this is what the crux of the whole Deebo Samuel debate was about. He wanted to play. He wanted to be a slot receiver at the end, and San Francisco wants to use him as a fucking combo. Which they're going to do, by the way.
Oh yeah, they don't have a choice. And they're gonna fuck that kid up.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
You can't just keep going in at running back. It's not going to work out well.
No.
But I was looking through, because I watch a lot of the preseason, getting ready for fantasy football drafts. So, I watch a lot of preseason, too much. But watching these teams, like the New York Jets, that is a horrific football team that has no prayer at anything this year. I'll go through the list. Buffalo Bills, I actually think, are going to win it all. Miami Dolphins, and we'll do an NFL preseason show, but just to show you how shitty it is. Fins up, but here's the thing. Tyreek Hill is probably the only reason you're tuning into the Fins.
Dolphins are solid.
They are.
Yeah.
But that's it.
I don't know. Jalen Waddle's pretty fucking good, too.
Oh, that's right. He's on that team.
Yeah.
that is
Wilson
the
Jr.
fastest
Patriots?
fucking receiver.
Tua's going to be fine.
Mac Jones, by the way, is going to be the biggest bust this year. Mark my fucking words, dude. He looks lost and confused out there. I don't know what the fuck happened to that guy in the offseason.
It's the preseason.
No, I'm telling you, man, you don't play that bad. Because, look, there's some guys who look all right, where you're just like, all right, like Jameis Winston, for example. I know you're super high on Jameis Winston. You love
He
him.
can see now.
He apparently can see. But
Well,
he
he could
also
see
has the
last
best.
year, too.
Yeah, but he also
Well,
has,
he actually had a good year last year until he, tore his ACL.
But looking at them, they have the best wide receivers. It's Olave and fucking Michael Thomas, and then you have Alvin Kamara in the backfield. If he can just play remotely okay,
Yeah, just don't get hurt.
that's it. And he's in a weak division, so they might be fine. The only one that I'm looking at here, because you can take the AFC South, you can throw all of these teams in the ocean like that. Houston Texans, Tennessee Titans, the Colts this
Oh,
year.
the Colts have a pretty good shot.
The Colts are actually going to run away with
Jaguars.
that.
I mean,
But they have Matt Ryan. The Colts are going to run away with that division.
It's a weak, but none of these teams are going to the Super Bowl. Like it's weak. It's a weak division.
You
The
don't
AFC
buy-
West is loaded.
You don't buy Matt Ryan
I
with the Colts.
I actually think the Colts.
They're trying to do the Rams last year.
That's not a bad dark horse Super Bowl pick, I would say.
Everyone's probably on that.
You think so?
I
Because
don't
of
think
Ryan?
so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think they are.
man.
Ryan's like 38.
I know, but they're
37.
just doing the Stafford thing with the Rams.
Well, Stafford was at least like 33. I was like, all right, cool, man.
I mean,
Matt
they're
Ryan
doing
is
the Brady
38
thing,
years
really.
old. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's a little problematic that Indianapolis's wide receiver 2 has 360 yards in 15 career games.
Paris Campbell.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Well,
He
he
can't-
keeps getting hurt.
He's always hurt.
Always hurt.
And he will be this year as well.
Great
because-
player, but
yeah.
always hurt. You're right.
I mean, maybe this will be the 1 year where he stays on the field. But Jonathan Taylor was honestly the first time in a very long time that I thought a non-quarterback could win MVP was him last year.
I don't understand why he didn't. Oh, I guess they didn't make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs. But then the Seattle Seahawks, that is one of the worst teams I have seen, and that is going to be an awful year for them. I actually feel bad for Drew Lock.
Me too.
He's their starting quarterback.
I have this whole time.
What
In Denver, too.
I
Yeah.
think of this.
It was bad in Denver.
Like, look, he's just been. I mean, now he has a good coach, but a shitty team. Whereas in Denver, you get drafted
What
to
about,
it.
do you feel bad for DK?
Well, no, DK took the money, so like that's his problem. He took
That is his-
$75
yeah.
million 2 weeks ago, and that's on him. So he wanted the money, they paid him the money, and with the NFL and the risk of injury, I think it's smart just take as much money as you possibly can.
Yeah, if you want to be a fucking loser.
Right.
Right, but if you're looking at life,
There's no amount. I would kill myself if like I'm not even kidding. To take that amount of money and to be that comfortable in my day-to-day life, but know that my job performance was shit. That I would just kill myself.
And also to live in Seattle.
yeah, that
you
would
have
be.
to live in Seattle too.
I don't know that he runs into the same kind of issues that a man that looks like me would run into up there. But yeah, it sucks.
I mean, yeah. Look, with quarterbacks in particular in the NFL, like, let me just put it this way. You can ruin anybody. You send Pat Mahomes to the wrong team, you can ruin him. Like, out of
Yeah.
the gate. You can't
Yeah.
ruin him now. Like, he's too good now. But, like, if you send a quarterback out of the gate, any fucking quarterback, to the wrong team from the start, they're fucked.
Yeah.
They're fucked.
I mean, like Aaron Rodgers, for example. Putting him in a place that refuses to spend money on skill position talent probably cost him 2 or 3 Super Bowls.
Easily.
As much shit as I
Yep.
give him,
Yeah.
he is in my opinion, the best physically talented quarterback that's ever played quarterback. And
Imagine
he's
if he went
got
to the Lions.
he's got one.
One.
If he went to the Lions, he had 0.
I mean, look at
And he
Stafford
may,
even.
He may be
like-
completely out of the league.
Yeah.
From injuries like Stafford almost was, right?
Right, and Stafford, look, there are talent levels where they'll like shine through or whatever, like Stafford in Detroit, for example. But
Made the
like,
playoffs twice, right?
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, like, it's a type of thing where like, what would Stafford have been if he had been drafted by a competent organization?
oh man, dude.
By the Eagles.
Yes.
Like seriously,
Eagles.
somebody that's like a classic mid-tier team that will go out and spend some money on receivers and shit.
Yeah.
And has a good, like historically good defense. That you put him on that kind of team, his career is
Right.
a totally different trajectory.
And now, by the way, you might be saying to yourself, well, the Broncos are great historically. Those days are over. John Elway runs that team now.
Yeah.
Those days are fucking done.
I mean,
Terrell Davis isn't come through that door.
no, he's selling Defy CBD or whatever the fuck.
He was on our show.
Not good.
He was on our show.
He's a nice guy though.
I enjoyed the beverage. He
It's
had.
just got 38 grams of fucking sugar.
That's what
in
I
it.
told
the
him. I
problem.
said, look,
Yeah,
man,
but
it's
the
a lot of
CBD
sugar.
cancels that out, right?
it's a net
Yeah, I think you
zero.
just absorb more sugar actually
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's a lipid. But yeah, the Broncos used to churn out defenses and running backs like nobody else could. And if you just had a competent quarterback, like when fucking Peyton Manning went there, he was Peyton Manning in a wheelchair.
Well,
You know what I
no,
mean?
he set the record. His last year, the
His
year
last
he won,
year that he
was-
won, yeah, it was
yeah.
like. But the reason they won is because that team was built the same way that the fucking early 2000s Ravens.
Well,
teams
they
were
won
built.
because the Brocket ship kept things moving when Peyton went out.
The Brockett ship?
Brock
Osweiler.
Osweiler.
Oh, boy.
Remember that
There's
6'9"
No one calls
dude?
him the Brockett ship.
He got a fucking deal with the Texans after and didn't even play.
was-
I don't
he
think.
was awful.
Never played.
He was
Now
awful.
that's a man.
He Matt Flynn did. Matt Flynn is the smartest dude in the history of the NFL. He had one good game in his whole career.
Yep.
And he turned it into a bunch of guaranteed money.
I'm pretty sure Brockett ship comes from when he was in Houston.
Yeah.
Because obviously, space.
That's right.
Yeah.
God
Yeah,
damn it.
there's
They paid him
space in
so
Houston.
much money, dude. That was one of the worst decisions of all time.
I got to look up his contract. Hang on.
Massive.
Yeah, find that.
He has a grammatically incorrect tattoo.
Is he really? What is it?
It's, but it's the wrong it's.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Man, that's so fixable too.
It is.
It is, but why? Let it
At
go.
this point, yeah.
Let it go at this point. Frozen it.
$72 million deal he signed.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was massive. Fucking massive
let
for
me see.
Brock Osweiler,
That's
dude.
insane.
That guy is $72 million. We'll end.
He got $41 million from that contract out of the 72, and he didn't even.
Yeah.
Good for him.
God
Good
damn
for
it.
him.
Yeah, I guess. Matt
Arizona
Flynn
State.
Matt Flynn got what, 60?
60-something, yeah.
Yeah. God damn it.
didn't
That's
play a
amazing.
fucking game after
Good
he
for
left.
him, dude.
He rode the bench in fucking Seattle for a couple of years, and they just cut him, I think.
We'll tie this up here with the U.S. Open, which has started today. I personally think this is probably Serena Williams' last match. I think she probably
She's
loses tonight.
No, she's a minus 300, 370 favorite.
I will take
She'll
that.
probably make it to the second or third round.
Yeah, I
so?
think they probably gave her a gift, and B, I know
Well, she lost the last first round matches, the last two tournaments.
That's fine. Those are warm up tournaments. They don't mean anything to her. She'll probably come out a little harder today. And I know she lost early in Wimbledon too, but Wimbledon is not the type of tournament that suits her body at this point. It's the court plays way too fast. Hard court is a lot more neutral. I would guess she wins today, but who knows? Simona Halep already lost today. The number 7 seed, my favorite current women's player than Coco Gauff. Lost in the first round earlier today, so it's wild shit can happen.
I think I'm going to. Is it minus 300 really?
She is a minus 350, minus 300 favorites to win tonight.
Great. I think I'm going to take the other chick just to do it. Here's why I say this, by the way. They're putting this on in prime time. It's on 7 o'clock
Center
on
court?
ESPN, center court. There is nothing else sports-wise on tonight. It would seem to be a nice going-away party because if she wins again...
She's going to be playing center court prime time literally every match until she loses.
You think so?
Yeah, she does that anyway. She does it in a tournament she's not retiring.
But she's ranked what? Is she ranked?
Who cares? Yeah. It's Serena. This is her tournament. Like this is like the way Tigers, the Masters, that type of shit, whatever. The U.S. Open, she's an American, and this is her tournament. This is her crowd. And again, I think they probably gave her a nice.
What about the men's side? Because
No
Djokovic-
joker.
Yeah, no joker. So, which
Yeah,
is funny
'cause
because that rule doesn't really apply to anything anymore. They literally only used it here to keep him out of the country.
Pretty much.
Like that's literally the only
the strangest thing
the
of all time.
final application of all of the Orwellian nonsense from these mandates and shutdowns and restrictions is just keeping the last dude who was the most vocal critic of it out of the U.S. Open.
Here's what I don't understand with him too. I mean, I guess he just wants to be an honorable person, which fine. But like, just get a cockamamie, Bosnian or Serbian card. You can't get a fake ID in Serbia.
I think he's just trying to prove a point.
He is,
Yeah.
Which
He
is interesting because now people are lumping him in with like Kyrie Irving and shit, which probably wasn't exactly where he wanted to go with that.
No,
Aaron
and
Rodgers.
look, he
Yeah.
has some Kyrie. He's probably more akin to Aaron Rodgers than Kyrie.
Yeah.
But it also wouldn't surprise me if Djokovic came out tomorrow and said Earth was as flat as a tennis court.
I mean, who knows? He's from fucking Serbia.
Right.
I don't know what science they're taught there, if any, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Although
mostly
they're probably
how to,
still ranked higher in science education than the United States is because we're in the 30s.
Yeah, I mean, they're certainly they're in some ways they're very good at science, like electrically wiring an IED, for example. Like
yeah.
they're fantastic
Yeah.
at that type of thing.
Well, you gotta
I
be
think
good at something.
Kyrgios is going to win this.
He's not even going to come close to it. He's probably out before the second weekend.
But you got to remember, all the stars are gone. So Nadal's out, Djokovic is out. Medvedev is the top-ranked guy here in this fucking
Well, he's
thing.
the third best male tennis player in the world, right?
Medvedev won last year.
Yeah. But he hasn't played in a while because everybody banned Russia from
Just Wimbledon.
Russian athletes from playing.
Just Wimbledon. He's
I'm gonna
been
go
playing.
curious
This isn't
here.
like a LIV Golf situation where where it's like, oh, they only play once every couple of weeks or whatever. Like Medvedev was playing in every other tournament. It was literally just Wimbledon.
Yeah, Kyrgios, I think, is I don't know. One, he's inconsistent, but this isn't
Deeply
like,
inconsistent.
This isn't like his best court, is it?
No, grass is
Yeah,
his best court.
he's kind of.
He's a grass court
So-
guy because he's got a massive serve.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you fully appreciate, even after watching that Wimbledon final, how fucking crazy Kyrgios is. He is a fucking head case.
Yeah. But he went to the finals of Wimbledon.
One time.
He looked good in the last tournament. And then with this, man, it's the ratings. I got him on at 7:30 tonight. I got him in prime time tonight.
That's fine. He's still going to lose.
Medvedev, they put him on early in the morning.
Who cares?
To bury that guy. But I'm going curious, I think.
Kyrgios is, I would be shocked if he's playing in the second weekend. He even said at Wimbledon, I don't think he was joking when he was like, oh, I hate playing late into tournaments. I don't ever want to run this far again. Like, I think he fucking meant it.
I think he wants to win. I do.
I've-
and this is his shot. Nadal and Joker out. I think he's gonna. I'm gonna throw some money on it. Go to mybookie.com, bet with us or against us on there, and goodbye, Serena. I think she's done.
Yeah, great career.
She won't be here next week.
She's where does she rank in the best female athlete of all time? I think, like accolade wise, she's probably the best, right?
If it's not number one, I don't know who would be.
Well, I mean,
higher.
like,
Athlete of any sport.
Cheryl Miller.
yeah, Cheryl Miller. I mean, I'm like
Did
she.
you throw all the basketball players out? You can talk about like Olympic athletes, but I don't think any fucking basketball player goes in there with Serena.
Why not?
What do they even play? Their leagues existed for like 20 years. I mean, there's no history
Cheryl Miller
there.
was there before.
She played in the '80s.
Yeah, in like some college and weird
Yeah.
foreign pro ball that no one gave a crap about. Women's tennis is
Better than Reggie.
women's tennis is literally the most storied women's sport of any women's sport.
It's the only storied women's sport.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, well, gymnastics maybe or something like that, but
Tennis
that's-
player, or
I guess.
I guess maybe a soccer
Track
player.
and field.
No. Well, yeah, I guess there. Like you can.
Yeah,
na-
you-
you
like
can name a
Jackie
couple,
Joyner-Kersee.
Yeah, Marion, whatever the fuck her name was. Marion Barber, is that her name?
Yeah.
Jones,
That
I
was a
thought the one who
gentleman.
got her medal stripped.
Ronde Barber.
Yeah.
Who is Garcia Parra's wife?
Mia Hamm.
Oh,
Mia
Mia
Hamm.
Hamm.
Mia Hamm. So Mia Hamm's on this list. I just looked up the top ones here. Lindsey
Yeah, I guess
Vonn,
soccer is another one. Yeah.
Jackie Joyner-Kersee, Simone Biles. I say
you
no
said
to that.
Lindsey Vonn.
Lindsey Vonn, yeah.
Who's that?
The
Snowboarder.
The skier.
Oh,
Dated
that's-
Tiger
dude,
Woods.
That's not real.
Martina
That's not
Navratilova, she was a fucking gangster.
Yeah.
Wilma Rudolph, Ronda Rousey.
Navratilova. I mean,
Not
Ronda
Ronda Rousey.
No. She was dominant for a long time.
When she fought no one.
But Serena really hasn't played against. Who was her main competition? Her sister?
her sister is like a top 3 player of all time.
That's what I'm saying. But that's when.
What does it matter? They're in the same family. Like it's a fucking top 3. Like
it
Venus
does.
Williams is fucking insane.
It sure
at
the
tennis.
fuck does. You know the rumor that's been going around for years that she was dumping matches to her?
Nah, I don't believe that. Actually, Venus Williams was dumping matches to everyone because Venus Williams is
Yeah, she has like
She
some
has-
weird blood disease. She can't fucking. She has no energy ever.
well, and
Is that why she lost control of the wheel?
yes, probably.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, Venus
what?
Williams.
Women shouldn't be driving.
Venus Williams killed some people.
Venus Williams killed somebody?
Yeah, she hit somebody, a pedestrian, in a car.
Oh, fuck.
Pulled
Good
the
for her,
pulled the
dude.
Jenner, pulled the Matthew Broderick.
Should have
great.
been standing there.
Yeah.
Dante Stallworth.
Dante Stallworth,
Yeah.
okay.
See?
Shit. Now I've got
Cutthroat
Venus
killer.
ahead of her.
Also,
Cutthroat Killers League, you get a
Serena-
Venus racket.
Serena, especially early in her career, when she was winning a lot of her matches, played really great people. Steffi Graf was still there. Martina Hingis, who is a top, like, probably 5 women's player of all
Even-
time.
That era that they were in, though, was ruthless. I mean, you're looking at
Monica Seles.
Monica
Before
Seles,
she got
Martina
fucking shanked,
Navratilova,
Navratilova was
Well,
done by
Martina
the
was a
time
little
then.
bit.
Steffi Graf.
They overlap a little bit in the
Yeah.
early 90s.
Annika in golf is a goat.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, for sure. Like, nobody's even close to
But
her, right?
like I get wanting to put a UFC person on there or a fighter, but why not? Like, why would it be Ronda Rousey? Why would they pick her?
It wouldn't be Ronda. It would be Nunez.
Was she American though? I mean, we were talking about Americans. so-
I don't know. Katie
she's
Ledecky's on this list. Flojo is on this list.
I
I
would
can
say-
see Ledecky. Yeah,
Ledecky
she
is
was pretty
legit.
dominant, yeah.
Ledecky. It was interesting about Ledecky is, and I kind of feel that Serena's kind of the same way to an extent. Like Ledecky breaks men's records from like the 70s. Like in the 2016 Olympics, she beat like Mark Spitz's times.
Yeah, she's incredible.
So, and I kind of think Serena would probably work any dude from like the 60s and before.
Probably, yeah.
In
I mean,
tennis.
if you look at the high jump from the early part of the 20th century versus now, it's like dudes were jumping over this table.
Yeah.
It was nothing. Like,
Yeah,
seriously, it was
true.
like 4 feet.
I'm striking out Babe Ruth every time.
Not a friend.
Honestly, if I hadn't seen Walter Johnson pitch and video, I might believe you, because it's hard to believe those guys way back then have it. But that dude threw fucking gas. Like, he threw gas, and their breaking pitches back then were unregulated, meaning dudes were spitting on shit and cutting like horseshoes on the top of the baseball. Nolan Ryan used to do this shit all the time.
Yeah.
Listen, all I'm saying is current day, Babe Ruth, he's not touching me.
That's not even true because John Kruk would take you out of the stadium every
Ruth's
fucking
in
time.
the ground,
And
so-
John Kruk is a body of, he's just like nachos inside of skin.
Yeah.
Unless Babe Ruth becomes a zombie.
I think I could take down John Kruk.
Like you could strike him out?
Not strike him out, but get him out. He doesn't strike out very much.
Yeah,
Didn't strike
he's
out very
contact for sure.
You just have to like dangle a hot dog in front of his face.
Lisa Leslie's also on this list, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's-
Leslie I'd put there.
I would for
'Cause
sure.
I think she
She had the opportunity to
yeah.
actually play against all the competition that existed too, which is something Cheryl Miller never got the opportunity
Yes.
to do.
Yeah.
Diana
Taurasi, she's on this list.
What about Candace Parker? She's got to be up there.
She's on this list as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I mean, she got taken out by a pregnancy. Right?
That
So did
fucking
Serena.
So did Serena.
You can't
did
look.
Serena.
You can fucking do a lot of shit, but you can't fight nature, bitch.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the type of thing where it's like, I will never, it sucks because you're like, well, fuck, dude, just get a surrogate so you can keep playing. But I mean, I understand a woman wanting to carry her own child.
Yeah.
I don't. Fuck that. Jenny Finch. Somebody mentioned Jenny Finch. I don't think the softball players got to have a long enough career to be added to a list like
Yeah,
this.
it
she was
stinks.
second
It's
hottest.
unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
right?
she was second hottest, too. She's the second
Yeah.
hottest female athlete of all time. We
There
all
was-
know who number one is, right?
Kornikova?
Yeah, there you go.
There was that woman. I think she played for Miami's team. Fernandez, Lisa
Yeah.
Fernandez. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
did
yeah.
she-
Oh, and by the way, to go back to who Serena played, Maria Sharapova is an absolute Hall of Fame tennis player. Has a Grand Slam.
Oh, she played for UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Having a Grand Slam in tennis, I mean, that is a short list. There are, I think, fewer Grand Slam winners than there are people in the 500 home run club.
Oh, I
it's-
agree, but I think
and
that was the
Serena-
only person.
Serena Williams butt fucked her.
Well,
Serena Williams fucking dominated her.
because Serena was on steroids at first, it forced her to be on steroids, and then she was out for a year. Remember?
Okay, great. They were both on steroids, and Serena's like 19-1 against her.
That's
like
what I'm-
fucking
That's what I'm
fucked her
saying,
up.
but it's only one person. Who else besides that?
Who else do you need? Again, she was beating Martina Hingis. She was beating all these people early in her career that, by the way, were like seasoned, and Serena Williams was like a fucking 17-year-old.
They were old, and they were
Martina
on their
Hingis
way
wasn't.
out.
Martina Hingis was like 23.
Yeah, what-
Navratilova.
No, she wasn't playing Navratilova.
She was 80 by
Steffi
then.
Graf. No, I know, but that era was the hardest era by far.
That's
I don't know him by
That's
name.
probably true.
But I would probably argue some of these like female volleyball players are more athletic than most of these.
They got hops.
Yeah. Who's the one that they always win the Olympics? It's the same beach volleyball players. Those
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
The tall blonde chick.
Yeah, she's married to.
Just no one cares about volleyball.
Oh,
Isn't it-
so she was married to a baseball player.
Yeah,
Is
Chuck
it?
Finley's wife or something. Not Chuck
No,
Finley.
that was Tony
Fuck.
Katay, and
Yeah,
she
yeah.
abused
She's
him.
dead.
Well, she abused him
I don't know
before
if
she
she's
died.
dead, but she
RIP.
definitely
I think
abused him.
she's dead, dude.
Who is the woman, the
Tony
best
Katay
female
died.
golfer? What's her name?
Sorensen?
Yeah, she.
But she's not American.
No, but she if you're just talking about the best female athlete ever, she actually competed against dudes
Made the cut.
Yeah.
and definitely played better than most
Some
of them,
dudes, yeah.
Right? Like how many people make the cut each week? 70,
It's like 64. Usually.
64 out of a crowd of
125,
120.
130.
So she played in the tournaments, the men's tournaments she played in. She played better than at least half the dudes.
And that's actually impressive because Serena would not have done that against the
No, there's no way.
No.
But-
and look,
Golf is a more complicated sport, I suppose. Like,
yeah, tennis you can just be physical.
Yeah.
And that is the end of it, essentially.
if you put Serena up against like the 100 ranked male player in the world, he'll probably light her up. Yeah, because she's serving 105 and he's serving like 125.
No,
or
she'll serve
130.
in the 120s. That's not the issue. It's that she it's tough with women too, especially because she had such a strength advantage, steroids or no, over every other woman. Where like even if you get a guy who also serves 125, which is pretty average for a male tennis player, I think, but like it's not that she's weaker than him; it's that her massive strength advantage is gone.
Yeah.
Right. So now she's just on an even playing field, which she's never used to playing on against women because she had a fucking dominant body against every other woman. I actually think Venus should have been the better player.
If she didn't have medical problems, I think because she was faster
And longer.
She was faster this way. Yeah, for sure.
Venus's length and height, she's taller. Venus has a better tennis body.
But there's only one out of all the people that we're talking about right now. There's only one that competed against dudes and beat most of the dudes she played against.
Sorensen.
Yeah.
So I think that's it, right?
I would agree.
That's a pretty fair assessment.
That's like slaying the dragon, right? Like
Yeah.
if all things being equal, we can go up against each other sword for sword, and maybe you're better than me on any given day. But I'm the one that went out there and slayed the fucking dragon.
Only female to ever shoot a 59 as well.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd go Sorensen.
I think that's fair. I mean, now granted,
Now Tawny Kintan died last year. And I really don't want to let that go.
What did she die of?
Well, it was heart disease technically, but she partied.
That's unfortunate. How old was she? She wasn't. She had to be in her fucking maybe late 50s. That's about how old Chuck Finley is, right?
I'm not sure. Let's see. What are we pegging her
60
at?
on the dot.
Chuck
Oh yeah,
Finley's
60 on the dot.
59.
59. Yeah, fuck. Fucking A, dude. R.I.P. Let's end on that.
Chuck is free.
Drinkin' Bros. Fantasy football drafts are tonight. We will see you in the chats. We are not going live with the drafts. A lot of you hit me up and said, hey, Ross, I work late. I got to put the kids down at 8:30, blah, blah, blah. So we scheduled all the drafts after 8 o'clock tonight. So join us there, and we'll see you in the chat. Fucking don't draft. Somebody will draft Brian Robinson, and they have not heard the story. Happens every year. So we'll find out. Any of you auto drafters, you will be banned for 1 year from playing in Drinkin' Bros Fantasy Football
And we'll
leagues.
also dox you.
Yes.
We'll find out your home address and we're going to put it on the internet.
Correct. We will do
Don't
that.
fucking do it.
Don't do it. Don't auto draft.
And what we mean is, like, we won't just put it on the internet and people will be like, oh, I don't care about this address. We'll assign something terrible to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
What if
yeah.
you just like really curated your player list?
We'll frame you for murder. How about that?
Yeah.
That the auto draft just like is perfect for you.
You're in a
It's like-
courtroom trying to explain to a judge how you got framed for murder because you auto drafted on a fantasy football league.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
That doesn't sound real, son. You're going to prison forever.
No one would do that.
Well, guess what, Judge?
Guess what, Judge? We did. Looking forward to it tonight, kids. For D'Anthony Holloway, Delco Dan, Hot Bob, and Papa Georgie, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Monday Morning Recap. Good morning, everyone.